Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mecca of Banter podcast. And we want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays as we approach Christmas Day. And most importantly, as we approach Boxing Day, turn me up, chat.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm going to tell you right now, the World Cup's over. It was a fun ride with all you guys doing, so many episodes covering so many great games. But I've missed the banter, man.
It's
I've missed
nice.
it. And I'm ready
It's
to
nice being back.
So should we start with Nunez?
It's got to be Nunez.
Yeah, I was going to say
Darwin.
Christ.
That's the first thing I was going to say.
Give it to me.
Darwin.
All right.
I love Flant's comments, but
I saw a TikTok last night of that one guy shooting basketballs like over his head, and he's like, and it's like Darwin Nunez one-on-one. Yeah.
Bro, I've been saying that man is overrated. The dude put in a performance against Liverpool where he scored a nice goal. He hit the post on a good attempt, and then he scored another goal that was then called offsides. And Klopp got a fatty, chode for him, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, he's an interesting one because Butch wants to move on to the next topic so badly. He's like, I don't want to do this, but he's interesting because the defense is that he's super raw, has all the physical capabilities, which is true, but at some point you have to change physical capabilities into actually putting the ball in the net. We've all seen players who are so gifted physically and can do a bunch of stuff, but if you're not scoring goals, if you're not making your team better, then you're just a flop, bro.
Before the World Cup,
really expensive flop.
Yeah, before the World Cup, my comparison for him was Richarlison, but I think Richarlison's better than him now after his performance in the World Cup.
Clear.
I think he's very overhyped.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll save that for a little bit later. I can hear Henry laughing in my living room right now. That's beautiful.
That's showbiz, baby.
So we got a lot of great fixtures on Boxing Day, and it's gonna lead off with Hooves, Tottenham Hotspurs away at Brentford. Let's break this down here. First game.
Dude, bro, anytime we talk about these guys, I simply don't know what to say, what to expect ever. A bunch of the key players were in the World Cup and are either worn or out with Richarlison and Bentancur. Brentford doesn't have their main man at the moment. The guy's one of us, 267 gambling charges, and they were probably just overs on. He was just playing, stupid shit on Bovada.
Some fourth tier.
Dude, things he has no stake in, that he knows aren't a big deal. He's not throwing matches. The guy's just gambling. Ivan Toney being out is good.
Well, let me ask you a question, Hoove. I got one question for you. You're not going to have Romero, and you're going to have to rely on Eric freaking Dyer.
And Davinson Sanchez.
Who you were flaming these dudes last episode.
There's still zero confidence instilled in any of that. I think Matt Doherty's caught himself a nice little run in the friendlies that have been played, and I think I told Hen he's got 3 goals in his last 4 games, including those, which is insane for a wing back. He might be a better left side winger than, I don't know if Perisic is back or going to play. I haven't seen pictures of him on their media. So there's seriously some dogs missing. But what I do think Nikki mentioned earlier, Harry Kane's on a revenge tour.
Yeah, he's bagging 3 at least.
That guy
Man is just so mad, and I would not want to be a defender going up against Harry Kane for the remainder of the season.
The media that I read, he is all the way back. The media that I read,
he's probably back the day after.
Dude,
I have him on my fantasy team, so I just got to know.
Yeah, smart.
Captain him.
Someone reported that he visited the team at halftime of the friendly in street clothes and pepped them up and made them very aware that he was planning to play on Monday. So that's my dog. And
is Sonny going to be?
I don't know. Sonny featured in the friendly, so I would have to assume that he's going to be fully good to go. I mean,
and you have Kulusevski up front.
Kulusevski,
Jesus.
Kulusevski.
Yeah. He's back.
That's the guy, and he's fully fit. He came back one game before the break and completely changed the squad.
Mhm.
He's the key. He's the key. I think Butchie, you've hit on him before. He's the key.
Any young kids to replace Bentancur in the middle?
No, they talked about Alfie White. I think it's Alfie White. He got yanked halfway through the Nice friendly, which is a shame. He's like 20, 21. He's went on loan to Portsmouth for last year and played a lot and played well. But the youth thing with Conte, right? Like he's historically never been one of those guys to trust the kids.
He loves
Spurs,
like Victor Moses,
Mm-hmm,
another right wing back.
Bring him back.
Dude, and he just is consistent. He is just refusing to not play Emerson Royale. So, you can take that for whatever it's worth. But I think they pull it out. I think there's a Harry Kane double. Sonny and Kulisevsky, the attack, the top three is too strong, even without Richarlison. They don't even know how to use Richarlison yet. So,
he's such an interesting player to watch play for Spurs. Like we've touched on him so much between Brazil and Spurs and the difference. But if Conte can figure out how to get the best in him, that's that's a massive. Like I don't know do you think they'll ever roll with two up front? Have Kane be that guy to drop in, play like more of a 10.
I
would love that.
I know
it'd be so sick.
That's all anyone wants, and it's too obvious. And Conte doesn't stray from the things that he does, which win him trophies. Whatever, so be it. But like there's no reason that Richarlison and Kane shouldn't be playing on the same field, and they both shouldn't necessarily be out of position. Like, the issue with that is he's so dependent on his wing backs to get up and back that Sonny and and Kulisevsky on the right don't end up actually playing as forward or maybe they're deeper, but then that means we're exposed on counters. Like I see where the issues would fall, but the talents, getting all four of those guys on the field would be insane. It'd be so sick. But I'm calling 3 points. I'm gonna go 2-1, but again, it's Spurs, lads. It just zero confidence.
I was gonna say maybe we could save
Tottenham.
it. Should we save it for like the end to kind of go through our expectations for our teams, because it's kind of like a second half reset. All right, let's save it for the end then.
Yeah.
Let's save it for the end.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, before we go to the next one, is Brentford sick? Like, even without Ivan Toney, they're just like they're a bunch of dogs. And Thomas Frank is brilliant. He can. They have pretty much all of their guys. Like, they're not. They have like maybe one or two like key injuries, but they have all their guys back other than Ivan Toney. But like, they're really good. That sorry if I'm like butchering this, but like Mbembo or whatever, like that like secondary striker that plays up top, he's nasty. He's so good. And so even if Tony's out, he'll give the center backs a run for their money. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like a tie. But yeah, we can go on to the next one.
Doves would give the center backs a run for their money. So like, we're not super impressed here. You can't replace 7 goals, But
I'm very interested to see how the World Cup is going to affect a lot of these early games. Like, I have a feeling there's going to be a decent amount of upsets because, like, some of those bigger clubs with a lot of players in the World Cup who have been gone from the team for months now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be interesting when they're all back in the same side again.
I think we saw it yesterday with City and Liverpool, and like those are 2 rotated squads completely, right? So there's a couple guys that were playing, a couple guys had heavy legs, bunch of youngsters.
Yeah.
I think don't take my gambling advice because we've seen how that goes in the past, but it makes sense that the overs would be pretty good here. Like, we're talking about 70% of teams that are fully ready and up for it. I think Nick's right. The lower level teams that have had 2 months basically or a month to completely regenerate themselves, and then heavy legs in the elite. So it's gonna be interesting. Who knows?
Absolutely. Next game is my Liverpool Reds away to Villa. I'm nervous about this, man, and I'm nervous because I'm looking at our injury list right now, and holy mother, man, Artur,
bro, you sound like Klopp.
Hey, just get some fake teeth next.
Hold up. Hold up.
Well, your injury list is insane. Oh
Artur, Curtis Jones,
yeah, look at
Jota,
this, bro.
Milner,
I don't think you've
Diaz,
named a player I know yet. I'm kidding.
Firmino. Are you Nick?
Just keep
Stop
going.
that. Take that hat off, Callaway looking ass boy. Firmino and Alexander Arnold. So I mean,
Well, that's a plus.
Well, Trent.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So Trent is sick.
We're just putting Butch in a blender here.
I know. I feel so bad right now. I'm sorry, but
But-
Merry Christmas, buddy.
I know. Merry
Yeah.
Christmas to you guys too. No, but I think we also got to remember that Villa is recently taken over by Unai Emery, and they look a much better side than they did under Steven
Mhm.
Gerrard. So
beat United.
They beat United, in his first game. So this is a different looking Villa team, and it's away. I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest with you. It's not an easy game coming back from a World Cup.
I mean,
hopefully
Thiago
we-
didn't go, so you're good.
Yeah.
Ball
Well,
still.
I'm curious,
Thiago's
Butch, like,
rested.
did you watch the City Liverpool game yesterday? Like, that's going to be your truest tell of like
Yeah,
what they're going to look like.
I know. And yesterday, Liverpool did lose 3-2 to City in the EFL Cup. Like we said, a lot of youngsters were played on both sides. We did play Salah, who scored. Nunez had an assist. Thiago had a good game in midfield, and there was no Virgil van Dijk, so he was rested. And I'm hoping that he's playing in this Premier League game. He is back from the Dutch camp from the World Cup, so I hope to God he plays, because Joe Gomez, oh my God, get him out.
Best center back in the league.
Get him out.
You got Matt Phillips, so that'd be tight.
Hey, Joel Matip yesterday he had a couple really
Matip.
key. And frankly, as a Spurs fan, that loss yesterday is not something you hang your hat on. Like,
No.
you went out, you sent it. It was a cup match. You're playing City. Looked okay.
Bunch of
frankly.
randos in the
10 minutes
squad.
in.
Yeah.
Fair thing is, Butch Hoove lost a lot, so he knows like the losses that you
I
can
know what
like
it's like,
really
man.
like. You know,
I know what it's like.
Yeah, he's lost a lot.
You talk,
Well,
yeah, you
the
talk,
thing
you
is,
talk
Butchie-
yourself into it feeling like a win. Yeah,
We
so we
just-
too bad.
Butchie,
Yeah.
No Martinez though for Aston Villa, so that might be a shout for you all to score some goals.
Possibly.
I don't even know who their backup is. Is it like
Yeah, I think-
Fabianski?
I was gonna say I don't think their backup
No,
sucks.
their backup goalkeeper is Robin Olsen, the Swedish guy.
Maybe he's
where?
probably still drunk, dude. Honestly, he might be back.
100.
He might be back not till
100.
January.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Klopp does here. We'll see what lineup he throws out. I'd like to see I would like to see Harvey Elliott start. I think he looked pretty decent yesterday. He did a good job in midfield. Thiago, obviously Fabinho in there, Van Dijk, Matip, Trent, if he's healthy, Robertson, Allison. I don't know if Allison is back yet because he did not play yesterday. I'm guessing he is though. If we don't have Allison going,
Yeah.
freaking petrified.
He probably wouldn't have played a cup game anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'll give my prediction at the end, but I'm a little nervous about it. Aston Villa is a good team, new coach. I like their coach a lot. I think Emery's a proven winner. The man.
And they have Jacob Ramsey. So
Jacob Ramsey's the truth, man. He's the truth.
Sure is.
So we will.
First.
Butchie, what do you think? And I think there's, to this Nunez debate, I think there's two sides to where you have to give him credit because he gets himself in the spots to where he should score. Like he
Yes.
does the
Mhm.
hard part.
Yes.
Is it a confidence thing? Is it adjusting to the Prem? Like, what do you think his issue is right now? Because I mean, literally, he's had the chances. He had that chance in the City game yesterday. It was a massive chance, and he just put it wide.
Yeah, and
Good too.
I do think he's going to turn out to be a really, really good player. I mean, we also got to remember he's played 10 games in the Prem this year. He's got 5 goals, 2 assists. He's got a 7.42 match rating. So he's not
At 23 years old.
He's not like a flop at all. Like he's played 19 games. He's got 9 goals total for Liverpool. So he's almost at a goal every other game. And we all know that as a striker, that's a great ratio that you want to like aim for throughout your career, is a goal every other game. I do think that he misses too many big chances. Like there's no doubt about. I'm not going to sit here and act like an idiot. Like he
Reminds me of Timo a little.
He does. He reminds you.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, it's just like Timo does all the hard work too. He makes incredible runs. He draws defenders so far out of position, but misses a million chances. And it's just like, I mean, Butch, you were dogging Timo when he was at Chelsea.
I
So
could
it's like the same thing.
imagine if Nunes was doing this for one of our teams, Butch would be saying the same.
Bro.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I think the idea is similar. Like they do miss a lot, but I don't think Nunez is anywhere near as poor as Timo was, dog.
But he's also not a Champions League winner, so Timo can hang his hat on that. So it's like he's got that. But I don't know. I think the real question is like, who's the bigger cap between Nunez or Harvey Elliott? I just think that like between the two, they're just two huge caps.
Harvey Elliott. You think Harvey Elliott's bad?
That's Jake Paul, bro.
You think Harvey Elliott's a bad player?
I don't think
Harvey Elliott's just overrated, bro.
I think he's
overrated.
Extremely overrated.
Oh, I'm a flame you, United ball. Oh, I'm a flame you guys. Let's move on.
Do it.
I can't wait. Hold on. Next game here is Arsenal, West Ham. Winks, take it over. I'm gonna sit quiet. I'm waiting.
You better start making up some stats in your head about how he's good.
Oh, hey, yeah. Harvey Elliott, I think is actually a pretty good player. He doesn't score goals or do anything flashy, I don't think, but he plays simple. I kind of like him.
He's probably last.
It's not a bad shout about overrated though.
He's last on the depth chart at his position.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So Arsenal, West Ham. Winks, give us your thoughts because you're going to be without quite a few players.
Yeah.
You're going to be without Jesus for 3 months. Saliba, I've heard might not be in the squad.
Yeah, these are big games for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Winks.
Yeah, so coming back top of the Premier League table. Happy to be here. I've been reading a lot. Obviously, Saliba may be out, Gabby Jesus out, Zinchenko still out, ESR still out. But
it's like music to my ears right now.
Other than that, with that being said, I think that this is the exact game that we need coming out of the World Cup to kind of help set the tone for the rest of the season. We have 100% win record at home this year, scoring 19 goals in 6 games. Obviously, most of that's with a fully healthy squad. But facing David Moyes' team, 16th place, just really struggling right now. I think it's hard to see anything but a Gunners win tomorrow, even with those gents out. Nick talked about how much the World Cup is going to affect teams the second half of the season, and with Martinelli not getting a ton of time for Brazil, Saliba not getting a ton of time, and staying healthy, Saka succeeding individually. Obviously, England didn't make it as far as we were all potentially expecting. Ben White coming home early, Tomiyasu shining. I think that overall, minus the Gabby Jesus injury, the rest of our players, especially the young guys, are in a pretty good spot. So I really don't see anything but an Arsenal win tomorrow. I don't know.
Did you ever find out about Ben White? Like, was there ever anything released about like why he left or what's going on?
I think.
They asked for a lot of privacy. They asked for a lot of privacy around the situation. So I mean, there's speculation it was something in his family or whatever, but nobody knows.
Yeah, interesting.
But it sounds like he's to start tomorrow at right back.
Yeah, it's a good shout. In looking at West Ham, they're without Michael Antonio, they're without Kurt Zuma, and they're without Skamaka. Which like those three
Declan's back, isn't he? I think
Declan's
back.
And it's tough. It's tough to look at the FOTMOB injury list because we see all the time that 4 or 5 players will be doubtful, and then they get put in the squad. It's kind of like fantasy football to Americanize it a little bit. Like you get notifications that so and so's doubtful, and then 2 hours before the game they're 100%. So I don't want to read it too much into the injury list because Saliba could play tomorrow, Monday. And Tomiyasu's doubtful too right now. He could play Monday. So I don't want to read too much into that. I'm more focused on the players with injuries that we know 100% won't play, and so that's Kurt Zuma.
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
The West Ham thing's so interesting too, because this is the same squad, if not
Just the
better
ebbs
than
and
what they had
flows
last
of-
year. Yeah, it's so weird. And David Moyes, I think, has established himself as a really solid mid-table manager, and they're not mid-table, right? Like that's at some point you would expect that to be the case, but
yeah, I don't think.
Well, I mean, they're 16th right now. They're low in the table. They rank 17th for like goals scored in the Prem. Like they do not score goals, and their only shout is like keeping the other team from scoring goals. So it's like it's a really tough tactic to win games. But
now,
like for this,
now they have to go, first Prem game back. Now they have to travel to the Emirates. Everybody's been watching the World Cup. The Emirates is going to be absolutely packed and so loud, and I just don't see how
I agree with you on that, Winks. I think this first game back for you guys isn't going to be as hard. I'm just very interested to see your guys' fixtures after that, especially
it's a longevity thing.
Yeah, a lot of your injuries are pretty like substantial injuries, not just like knocks here and there. Like they'll be out for a little bit, especially with Gabby. And like we've talked about this all year, like off the podcast, like Arsenal just needed one injury, and I have a feeling they might fold. So I don't think
this. And Gabby Jesus was the one injury everybody was like, we lose him, we're out. So
yeah, so I think it's gonna be interesting. I don't think your game on Monday will be like your first true test of that injury, but moving forward, I'm very intrigued to see how Arsenal's going to handle.
I think
injuries.
What's going to happen here is we've got a congested fixture list to the point where it's going to happen like it does every year, where this final stretch becomes who has the most healthy guys for the next individual games, because that it always comes down to Liverpool, City, Chelsea's got depth. And I think, Arsenal's squad's super talented, but I think that was the one mild criticism of them coming in was, can they support the run of games? And that's, frankly, that's Tottenham's issue.
I think this is probably a different discussion, but it kind of leads to that point of like, once that January window starts, like Arsenal's got to go get somebody, in my opinion. I don't know, Winks, if there's been any rumors, because like, I mean, Nketiah is just, he's kind of like,
he's not it yet.
He's not consistent, because he can bag a few goals and look great, but he's not that consistent guy that I think you'll need to carry you. So I think you guys are you have to make some sort of move in January, very similar to United as well.
I'm going to give you guys a great name that I think would fit Arsenal to replace Gabby. Memphis Depay.
Yeah, bro. I'm all in on that. I think that'd be so smart.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's tough because
similar players.
I've seen a couple transfer rumors about that, and similar to the injury list, it's tough to really
be cheap
figure out who is actually linked as opposed to what's just Twitter talk. But I've seen a couple things about him. I've seen a lot about that. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Mudryk, that youngster.
Mudryk, yeah.
Mudryk.
That kid's so sick.
He's so sick. He would be fun too, and obviously he's got Champions League experience and stuff like that Nketiah doesn't. But another young kid.
A lot of Arsenal doesn't have it, so.
Good banter. Good banter.
Nothing
Heads on
just
one
good,
today.
Just good banter.
Top of the table.
I'm gonna say my Arsenal stat for the end.
Mudryk, I was looking at this kid, and he's got this fat neck tattoo, and he looks terrifying. He's Ukrainian, right? Like he's just kind of a scary dog.
I hate his haircut though. He's got like the middle part, but no volume to it. So it's just like it looks like he creased it down. If you guys look up a picture later, he's a baller. He would be dope. We've been linked to Yuri Tielemans for a while too. I think that the January transfer window is going to be big, and I know that Arteta knows that he needs to make a move somehow here. But a striker would definitely be my first choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to his neck tattoo. It says "Jesus is life" in English, and it's this big. It's like the size of a baseball. And don't get me wrong, I'm in, but like. Not what I was expecting this terrifying Ukrainian kid to have a neck tat of. I thought it could have been anything. Didn't see it being the
last thing you would ever guess.
100%, man. Put it on a billboard on his neck. Hey,
but
you know what? I'm throwing out. We're skipping a fixture here too that I think is semi-important considering the team's in fucking third on the table.
I was
We
gonna
haven't
say,
talked about
sick.
and your roommate would be
My roommate,
pissed
I had
off.
to. Lipple needed a shout here. Newcastle's got something going, and it's stupid because, frankly, I wanted them to take over and choke and drop, but they have clearly done the FIFA manager career thing where you spend FIFA coins to get the buyout, and then all of a sudden, you're taking
I'm
whoever's
shocked
top.
it's happening so quickly. I told when I had this conversation with little background, Hoover's roommate Max Lipple, he's not a big, but new Newcastle fan. And when he picked the team, I told him I was like, you got a couple years before they start being good, and they're gonna turn into City because I mean the money is there. They have the oil money. Like eventually, they're gonna have the whole little dynasty thing going. I just thought it was gonna be 10 years. Like I thought they would still be fighting for like 8th right now, but I never thought they'd be in 3rd. And it's funny, every week I'm like, it's like almost like the Leicester thing to me. Like every week I'm expecting them to drop points, and every week they're getting results, and I'm just like, damn, like they keep pulling out wins. So I'm very interested to see how they finish out the rest of the year.
They're one of those. They're one of those teams that I think more than most that the World Cup break hurts, because they were absolutely rolling going into the World Cup, and I think you have. But then again, they'll be one of the teams because I think it was Callum, and then like Gumieres, probably the only two were at the World Cup.
Trippy.
So like most of their
Trippier
too. Yeah. Most of their guys are been home resting. It's just, can they pick up where they left off?
Yeah,
you know, and I feel like
that's
going to be the true test, because you see
the
longevity of teams. It's like that's where you'll see like the Arsenals have fallen, teams start to drop off, and I think the World Cup like may hurt them. I mean, obviously, I love watching Almiron play, but just I think that they still have a shot to finish in the top 4. I really, really truthfully
do too.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's a great shot. I think momentum's such a huge thing. Like with that Leicester run, like they just kept riding that wave the entire way through. And like I think that World Cup breaking it up for them, it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle it.
The thing about the buyout too, and I did a little bit of research into this. It's not the first time that obviously, someone gets bought out. And it did. It took City 10 years, 8 years or something after the buyout that they won. But I think the QPR back in the 2000s, a very similar situation. They were bought out by a big money Asian conglomerate. And QPR is like a storied, Premier League team that has success, and they were purchased when they were in the Prem, and it imploded in their faces. Like everything went downhill. I think there were a lot of issues with the actual owners. But they had all this money that they didn't know what to do with, and they've spent it poorly, and they bottomed out. Like they're mid-table in the championship right now. So that it's tough to take that money and actually do something with it. But Eddie Howe was the guy, which is just psychotic to me. But he was taking that caliber of player that they had right now to be able to get results, and have the ability to take the new talent that they do bring in and actually make it work. I think that guy deserves all of the credit, it's just 100%. Insane. It's insane.
Future England manager.
And unlike City, they have a little bit of history.
Yeah.
Fact.
Factos.
Next up, we've got. Oh, I can't wait to flame you, Nick. We got Chelsea hosting Bournemouth. And Graham Potter they trust, I guess. I don't know how that works, but Nick, what are your thoughts here, man?
I'm happy. I was happy when we were doing the World Cup podcast, so we didn't have to really talk about the Prem. One thing I will say, if we're just previewing this game specifically, injuries plays another big role on our side as well. One thing that I am super excited about is Reece James is rumored to probably start in that game. So I'm super excited about that, just to see him back on the field. I think he brings so much to our side. Unfortunately, he brings so much to our side. Like he's pretty much our attacking force moving forward at the moment. So I'm very happy to see that. I'm also hoping this is me saying hoping, but not knowing what Graham Potter's going to do. I'm hoping that Ziyech's performance in the World Cup might give him a little bit he probably won't play because he's knocked up. But I'm saying in future fixtures moving forward, I'm hoping he gets a little bit more.
He has to, man. He had a
If not, he
I'm
should
also-
leave in January. He should leave in January.
I'm also
I think
thinking
he should leave.
I'm hoping like CP, like I think CP put in a like good enough performance for USA, and with like I said, with all the injuries, like we're gonna need to have a couple different lineups moving forward. So I'm hoping some of those guys that haven't been getting playing time, they start getting playing time and hopefully find a rhythm. That's kind of like what I'm gripping on right now, hoping for the Chelsea side. But
good news though, if Reece James can't play, they can always stick CP back there.
That's true.
Bro,
Very true.
Pulisic has the most chances created per 90 minutes of all of Chelsea's players. And
Yeah.
I saw that stat.
barely-
He was at 2, and then
Six.
and Sterling was like 1.7 or something.
And he
Bro,
can't get a
Sterling
shout.
sucks, bro.
Dude, I
Dude,
think if there's one time that you want to be playing this guy, it's off of his really impressive performance on the world stage, right? And like same thing with Ziyech. I think the first two guys you want playing are the guys that have already been playing well. So it would be insane for me to not have him starting. And CP's he's Mamba mentality. He's like minutes. I want him. Like, get me in the game.
How does that affect them if neither of them start this first game back though?
I know, and that's what I hate because I can totally see Kai, Sterling, Aubameyang front three.
And that's a limp dick front three if you ask me, bro.
Hey, and you know what sucks, who?
Flaccid.
You're not fucking wrong.
Flaccid.
You're not wrong.
Dude.
I'm not even going to defend it. Like, I love Kai, but like, and maybe Aubameyang not playing in the World Cup helps him out a little bit. Maybe. I'm hoping.
He's a head case, man.
I don't.
Guy's a liability.
I don't understand.
I think the thing that I think about Chelsea is I think you guys are in a very similar spot to United, where it's like new manager, have to implement an entire new style with his type of players. And what we're seeing right now is, I mean, it almost looks dysfunctional at times. Like he throws different lineups out there. He's trying to see what sticks and what works.
Yeah, we still have players.
He hasn't yet. Yeah.
We still have Frank Lampard players. We still have like
we got signings coming in that he's got to integrate to the team.
Exactly. We got a new owner. We got an American coming in. Thinking he can just buy big names.
Ben Davies is still my left side center back, bro. Ben fucking Davies. We haven't moved on from him. Come on, don't give me that. We still have Frank Lampard players, bro.
Well, Nick,
no, but I'm just saying, like trying to get a side together with all these different.
And he didn't have preseason. He's doing what he would have done in preseason with these lineups, and they're just way more valuable games.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a good shout.
Is everybody back, Nick? Do you know? Like, have you seen training pictures or anything?
So
like,
many injuries, bro.
Is Mount gonna play?
Mount's injured. Like, there's a lot of. So we have. I can go like Fofana, Loftus-Cheek, Conte, Mount, Kepa. Thank God. Azpilicueta.
I saw Mendy was refusing to sign a new contract.
It's good for Chelsea.
Campbell.
It's good for Chelsea.
I think, yeah, bro. I think it's a good move. I think Mendy's super overrated, and like this isn't even banter. I think no. He's a good shot stopper. He makes so many mistakes, and he's terrible with his feet. So like, if you're looking at the top six, I'm taking Hugo over Mendy, truthfully. And that's a big shout from me. That's a big shout from me.
Big shout, especially. I think De Gea and
talked a lot of
they're very similar players. De Gea and Mendy.
De Gea, the most underrated player of our generation.
I think
they're literally the same.
A confident Kepa.
Both have mistakes in them.
One's got a Premier League. One's got a Premier League.
And one has a Champions League.
Yeah.
Hey, and
the fact
we're forgetting that Hugo is a world champion too, and captain his side, and is actually the most captain or the most capped French player ever. But no, you're right. He's not that good.
No, I love I love Hugo. I'm just saying Mendy is I don't think overrated at all.
Yeah, so like
he's a great
I'll just
shot
like
stopper.
I'll put a hypothetical out there. I don't know when Mendy's contract ends, but let's just say it's this summer. Like let's say that happens and then, Chelsea goes in and gets Sanchez from Brighton. Awesome move. Like that's an awesome move. And Potter loves him, like loves his ability to play out of the back. Like I see that as an upgrade for Chelsea and Kevin was playing
if that's
at the beginning of the year.
Style
he was
great. Yeah, if that's the style of play that Graham Potter wants to do, then I agree with you because you are right.
Mhm.
Like Mendy with the ball at his foot is a liability. I tell people I want to send him to a kickball training lesson where they literally just roll balls to him and he kicks it as far as he can, just up the field. Like that's all I want him to do. So like I definitely see that
You can join
side.
in with Riley's class. That'd be
Yeah,
tight.
literally, gladly. I'll bring him on. I'll show him how it's done. But
bro, Chelsea offered Mendy half of Kepa's salary. That was their offer to him.
yeah,
That's
Not
like
a
that's
great
a
shot.
slap in the face.
yeah. Well, Kepa, I mean, before his injury, I mean, he was getting game time. Mendy came back. He was healthy, and they kept Kepa in, and then Kepa got hurt, and Mendy came back, and then he started seeing good form again. So I don't even know if Graham Potter's like decided on our number one in net. So it's up in the air.
Still
As
figuring it
far
out.
if just bringing it back a little bit, as far as this game, I still think we have the talent to get 3 points here. But like I said before, with the World Cup and me having no idea who our starting front three is, I could see a draw, I could see a loss, but I would expect the talent that we have on our side, we should get 3 points.
That Bournemouth, hey, tell you what, Kiefer Moore.
They always have our number. We had last year, we had like we were
goals.
down 3-0 at half and we had to score 3 in the second to tie, something crazy. Like they always give good games against us, and coming off the World Cup, like we'll see.
All right. Next up, we got United against Nottingham Forest. United is at Old Trafford at home. Henry Dobes, take it away, gents.
But you don't have any banter for
And you
him?
want to go?
Oh, just wait.
We're
just
so
wait,
back.
man. Just wait. I'm over here freaking. I'm just.
Bro,
like,
I'll take Alonga over Harvey Elliott.
Oh,
Alonga?
wow.
Alonga.
Henry
Jeez.
doesn't agree with that.
I don't
Alonga.
agree. I don't agree either.
Yeah.
I don't agree either. I think when looking at this game, we coming out of the World Cup, I think the biggest thing, at least that like I needed to see, was just Varane stay healthy. Like I needed to see Varane get through the World Cup because he was my biggest concern. He's arguably our biggest piece, at least in terms of most important to United. But going into this fixture specifically, like this could be an hour-long thing. I don't know how much you guys know about the Jadon Sancho situation, but like he's been off training on his own with a Ten Hag sports psychologist, away from the team for the entire World Cup and even still now. So he's not back yet. Obviously, we're missing Lisandro Martinez, who very much is probably with Romero on a boat somewhere off the coast of South America.
Just shit-faced.
Just shit-faced. Like it's one of those things where Ten Hag in his press conference earlier this morning was like, yeah, I think Lisandro needs to realize that the Premier League starts the 27th. So we'll see what happens. But then injuries like Delo's out. I doubt Varane's going to play. Harry Maguire's out. It's like, as you guys saw last game, like Casemiro played center back on Wednesday this week. Casemiro played center back and actually did a great job. But I think it's one of those we're going to see, just like everybody else, it's going to be kind of a makeshift 11. Like Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going to have to slide in and play right back because we don't have Delo, which I don't even know if he played in the Prem the entire first half of the season. I don't think he had a single minute. It was Delo. And then in terms of center back, like I'm assuming it may have to be Cassie, like unless whatever Lindelof decides to slide in. I'm very actually he's still on our roster.
I know, that's why.
Isn't that fucking insane?
Insane. Anytime I see his knobhead, I'm like, geez.
Yeah, bro.
I saw whoever the last manager was gave him a 1 year. They were like, hey, we're
for the vibes.
If you want to
For sure, a locker
you
room
want to
guy.
be here, and like we would love for you to be here, but here's a 1 year.
That I don't even know what to say about him anymore. He played last year for us, which is embarrassing. But I think sort of the downside.
He had a great game.
Actually, like the downside of sort of the makeshift squad, I also think you have to take the positives with it. We have a very informed Marcus Rashford from the World Cup coming back, who was absolutely incredible. You saw if anybody saw his goal Wednesday, it was insane. And you have arguably one of the best players in the World Cup, Bruno Fernandes, sliding back in the side. He's back healthy. Like we have sort of that balance of guys with experience that are still back. De Gea didn't go to the World Cup. He's been sitting there resting, so he'll play. So in terms of Nottingham Forest, we don't really know what we're going to see from them ever. They're kind of a group of players that were thrown together that haven't really been a team. They'll look good. They'll look like they're shit. So I think we cruise, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be that free flowing Eric Ten Hag style football that we saw earlier in the season. I think it's going to be very much of a, we'll have some decent possession. We'll create some decent chances. We'll win the game. On to the next one. Let's get all our guys back.
I want to see a Messi Lingard worldie so bad.
Oh, against United, that'd be nuts. I feel great about this game. I think Nottingham Forest are terrible. They're like 18th in the table. They're very not good. They have the longest injury list of any team in the Prem right now.
Insane.
It's nuts. But like, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, but if I were, I would say that like our 11 is De Gea in goal, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire. I think will be back from illness, Lindelof, and then Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and then like our front six will be like the same as it typically is. So like Rashford, Martial, and Garnacho will probably get the start, and then our midfield three will be the same. So like I trust our ability to win that game. Dobes, you hit it spot on. Rashford is like so in form right now. I mean, like that goal that you alluded to was a confidence goal. Like even the move that he made at the top of the box was like a non-move. He dropped one shoulder and tried to do.
It was shit
like
defending.
He tried to do something and he missed. But like, yeah, the defender was just like too worried about what he was doing. But then you have Garnacho. Like, I mean, he's just a threat, bro. He's just a threat. He's so direct, and I love it. But I'm not too worried about this game, to be honest with you. But it's nice to have the lads back for sure.
I don't want to.
Shooting. Sorry, I saw one of those like gambling stat sheets that just are like shots per game, whatever. Garnacho has like a shot and a half more on average on target than the rest of that team. Like the kid gets in spaces. Bro.
He's one of those players that he's such a joy to watch because he's so direct. The moment you get the ball, you know where he's running straight at you. He's going to try to make you look stupid, and then once he beats you, he's going to hit it. And there's nothing else. There's nothing else.
And as a defender, that was always like my biggest fears. Anyone that would take me on with speed. Like the moment someone like realizes that we're backpedaling, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, well, it's interesting.
A great example of it. Like
we called this out the other day. Yeah, on Wednesday. So like Garnacho and Rashford started the game on the wings, and then Antony came in later in the game, who's also fully healthy, by the way. So he could very well start. But like what's interesting about him is that Antony will pick up the ball and like slow everything down because he just wants to like take you on like one-on-one and like cut to his left because that's what he does. Whereas Garnacho, he gets the ball and just goes, and like you just don't know where he's going. He can finish with his left, his right. He's a huge talent. And if it were me, I would start Rashford on the right and like Antony can come off the bench. But like Garnacho's just it right now.
Isn't it wild
right now?
He's so hot right now, that Hansel.
Isn't it wild that like Ronaldo, like all that stuff and him leaving is probably like so beneficial for you guys? Like that's
I don't know if you Ten Hag, he's getting ready. And I watched that TikTok he sent, but it was Ten Hag's getting ready to come out with an interview on Christmas Day, and he talks about the locker room when he joined United and how absolutely toxic it was. There was no leaders. There was no nothing. There was I forget who they were playing. The first game against Brentford, there was a player that was complaining that it was too hot outside to play. And Ten Hag's like, but you know what I mean? It's stuff like that he's completely rebuilt. And that was where the signing of Casemiro became a big deal because 5-time Champions League winner, big personality, guy that's willing to step up and tell people how it is. That's why you have Varane. Let Varane take a leadership role. So we're very much just going through that change right now to where we'll still have those games where we don't look our best because we still definitely need some different players to get to a top team. But I think what we've seen is we're on the right path. And I think Ronaldo only expedites us getting to that path.
I was gonna say you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till January for him to leave or anything like that. Like all of that drama.
Let him go to Saudi Arabia and
it's gone.
Like his career. Yeah.
Like the World Cup was perfect for you guys. Like in that for that instance or that.
Give me my background. Give me my background and we move.
Yeah, Gakpo. Here we go. Yeah, Butch. I'm curious of like where in your brain you have banter to throw right now.
I'm just letting you guys finish.
Oh,
I'm finished.
I should have stopped. I want to stop. I should have stopped way earlier to let you go, bro. Let's hear it.
All right. Here's my thoughts. Okay.
Been cooking this up for 17 minutes. This better be good.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's about as long as you're typing, bro.
Hold up, man. Hey, chat. Hey, You know what? Never mind. Listen.
Kids
So
rattled.
when things go wrong in the game, if they do, who in God's name are you going to pull off the bench? Alanga?
Anthony.
Yes.
Shit.
Anthony.
Where's your $90 million flop, Jaden Sancho? He's training by himself in the Dutch camp because he's not good enough to play in the Prem.
Are you making fun of people with mental health issues? I just want to make sure that we're
that is
on the same
crazy.
page.
Dude, that's
Jeez,
crazy.
Hen,
That's
you didn't
bro,
have to
For
go
receipts.
there.
Butch,
you are
that's
a
crazy.
you are a
No.
teacher.
He,
you are a
he's
teacher.
flop.
man.
He's a flop. He's a flop. I'm not
Butch,
making fun of his mental health issues.
You
He's
are
training by himself.
bro,
because
you are
he's
a
not good
teacher. You are a teacher. I'm
Hey,
He's just calling him a
enough.
flop.
He's not good enough.
I'm
He's
about
not
to call
good
John.
enough.
I'm about to call John real quick and tell him what
He's
you're
not
saying,
good
bro.
enough. Okay, he's not good enough. $90 million flop. We all know Harry Maguire is not.
I actually agree with the flop thing. He's a flop currently. He's a massive fucking flop.
We all know Harry Maguire is not the same defender for United that he is for England. So if you're relying on Harry Maguire and Lindelof, I would be a little bit nervous if I were you. Wan-Bissaka, Jesus mother. This guy can't even connect a pass.
Better defender than Trent.
Cap.
That's all he does, bro. All he can do is
There's
defend
literally
a little
one
bit.
thing there's literally one thing that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is good at, and it's defending.
It's one-on-ones.
Hey,
and that's
it.
Butch, would you rather take a back pairing of Joe Gomez and Nat Phillips or Lindelof and Maguire?
Joe Gomez and Nat Phillips.
Bro, you're
Those
capping
both
so
suck.
hard.
Joe Gomez and Nat Phillips.
So hard.
No.
Butch, come on, man.
No.
We can rewind the tape, bro.
No, the only thing that's good about Harry Maguire is that his girlfriend's a rocket. That's the only She's an absolute rocket. But the one thing I will say about United that's good after all my roasting here is that I am genuinely scared for the Premier League defenders. I think Rashford's about to be a demon.
I think so too.
He's about to be a demon.
It's the first time in like 3 years that he's had a manager that gives him full confidence. He was stuck playing on the left, and he's always said that he wants to be a player that can play all three positions. He wants to play center striker. He wants to be able to play on the right side. He wants to have freedom to express himself. And you're finally seeing a manager that gives him that confidence and that freedom. And I think you're seeing the product of all of that.
How old is he?
Fabrizio today.
25.
Rashford.
25.
Still young.
He's
Fabrizio today said because it got released earlier this week that United is triggering Rashford's 1 year extension. So there's that, and then they're working on a new long-term deal. Fabrizio this morning said Eric Ten Hag wants Marcus Rashford at all costs. Loves him as a player, loves him as a big part of the team, and obviously we know Fabrizio and how reliable he is. But that's a huge vote of confidence for Rashford as well. Even just that headline is awesome.
And Butch, don't make fun of him, but he's another one of those that went through the mental health stuff.
I would never do that. I'm genuinely saying Jaden Sancho is a flop, and we all know he's a flop.
He was a flop before he had mental health issues. So,
bro, can you imagine if he comes back from this Ajax training just the absolute player? Just stick him in a 10 role. He's assisting goals,
I'd love it. I'd love it, but awesome. I'm not holding my breath.
Not gonna happen.
I would love for him to transfer in the summer.
I feel bad for guys like that. I feel bad for guys like Kai Havertz. Dude, they were just different players with the squads that they had in Germany. And I don't know if you want to credit the league being more difficult or the transition to English media or what. But I was a huge Kai Havertz guy when he was on Leverkusen. He was a 5-tool player. He did literally everything and was the truest definition of a false nine there because they let him do whatever he wanted. And it was great. And just Jaden was the same thing. And I feel bad for those guys that have those high expectations. And end of the day, bro.
I'd argue that
still very young.
I'd argue that Sancho was I'd argue that Sancho when he was a teenager was better than Jude is as a teenager now. I would argue him at Dortmund was that good. He was a top five in assists and goals scored and chances created and everything when he was at Dortmund. Yeah. And you see it, it's very similar. It's you get to the Prem and whether it's the media, whether it's just the pressure you're under, the league itself is different. some of these guys just don't cut it. And Jadon Sancho, having grown up in the English youth system, I thought he was going to be able to have an easy transition, but it's been literally the exact opposite of that.
But that's what I'm saying. I just feel like, and obviously I do know if he is going through things, I genuinely hope he's okay. Like, we would never wish,
100%.
him to have any issues mentally or anything like that. Like, we're all human beings. We don't want anybody to suffer through that. The only thing I was saying is, like, when a club forks out 80 to 90 million, however much it was for a player, he's been there long enough. He's been there long enough to where, dude, you have to do something.
Facts.
You got to do, like, you're worth it. You're worth so much money. And you, like you said, Dopes, you were a top 5 player in the world in your position at Dortmund.
Yeah.
You got to produce.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 years.
You know firsthand, man. You got one of those guys too.
Who?
I was gonna say the funny thing is Sancho scored against Liverpool this year.
He did.
Old Darwin. Old Darwin's got to earn his keep too.
Bro, I just pulled up he's got 18 games played. He's got 9 goals, man. What you mean? He's producing.
You're so funny, bro.
What?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good shout with Sancho. Like, I mean, what's interesting is, like, all throughout last year and even at the front, like, beginning of this year, he almost had like an inverse effect on the rest of the team. So, like, when the team is playing well, Sancho was like a non-factor, and then last year, whenever like the team looked terrible, Sancho would just like have a great game, and
he'd figure out a way to score out of nothing. Yeah,
it just like feels like it can't be like a joint effort between the two. And yeah, I would love for him to just be like an absolute player. My guess is he's going to get sold in the summer. That's my guess.
Yeah, and I think it would make sense. I mean, it just hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out. Maybe, like Hoof said, maybe the league's just a little bit too difficult for him, or maybe he just doesn't fit their system well. You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't fit Ten Hag's system. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe United's just too big for him. Like, I don't know. He go back to the Bundesliga.
Go back to Dortmund.
Yeah, he could go to Bayern. I could even see him like going to Spain. Like, Spain's just a different league. Like, it's not like easier by any means, but there's more space. Like, there's more space to cut people up, and I could see that happening as well. But
he's one of those, just a year from now, or excuse me, a year prior to this, he thought 100% that he was going to be on that plane. He was going to be in Qatar. He was going to be with that World Cup squad, and he just didn't earn it. He just flat out didn't earn it, didn't deserve to go. And so he's just going through his mentals right now. He's going through that like 1,000 players go into the transfer to the Prem. It's just a different light when you have that price tag on you is what changes everything. I think that leads 100%. To kind of like much like, I think maybe besides Nick, because they've already signed a bunch, but like I think everybody in here needs to make some sort of January move.
Yeah,
we have to. Especially,
I still think we do too. To be fair.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I knew who was gonna say something. But
Neymar, baby, Neymar.
I hope.
I'm so sad about Nkunku, bro. I wanted him to go anywhere where I could have enjoyed him, and he didn't.
And he didn't.
London is very much blue.
Well, we've spoken in depth about these fixtures with our clubs. So let's give our predictions. Let's go ahead and start back from the beginning. So Hoove, you guys away at Brentford. What's your prediction for this game? What's the score?
2-1 Harry Kane double.
2-1 Harry.
I think it's a good shout.
Hoove, what's your I think this might be a good spot to dive in. What's your like expectations? Like, what is like 3 points ahead of United in 4th currently? Like, what is your expectations for like the rest of the second half?
Frankly, it's just got to be top 4. That's just the objective. That's the only way you keep Conte, and it's a damn shame that's just kind of what I hope for every year. But it's an expectation to play in the Champions League. It keeps Conte. Conte gets players that he wants because they want to play in the Champions League. And, this was the first full year of Conte, and he still doesn't have the squad, I don't think, that he wants. So, I do think everything builds up to next year, but I've said that for 11 years. So,
poor guy, man.
Wow.
Take that with a grain of salt. But Look, you don't sign on to be a Spurs player and not understand disappointment. So it's tough to be like, we're gonna get him this year, gang. Like,
I was just about to say, I have a feeling all of our expectations are going to be like, we all want to get in top 4, and like that's going to be hard when there's 6 of us or 6 different teams. So
and
it's going to be
Newcastle
interesting
from left field.
I know.
I like that. I'm with that, Hoof. I think it's definitely possible too.
I think it's
yeah.
I think it's not. I think it's expected. I don't think it's possible. I don't think they drop. I think it's 100% expected. And the fact that they've dropped out of every other cup competition other than Champions League is probably for the best. Whatever. Get the squad in 4th place. Whatever. Fine.
I like it.
Yeah, next one is us, Liverpool and Villa away at Villa. Like I said, I'm nervous about it, but it's a must-win game for us because we're 4 points off United, who's in 5th. They're on 26, we're on 22. So we need to win this game to put a little bit of pressure on them. 2-1 Liverpool. I think Salah's well rested too. We have to remember that. Mo Salah did not play in the World Cup. So
my gambling shout, I think, of the whole weekend is Villa double chance. I think they're probably going to have good enough odds to come away with a draw there. And like you said, Unai Emery's kind of hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
The squad got rested. They didn't have guys in the World Cup. I think you're right. It's going to be tough, but
yeah, it's a hard game to predict a score for. But we have arrested Mo Salah. I think he'll be a game changer as always for us. But to be honest with you, a draw I could see is possible. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
I can see a draw happening because you know what I mean. Like we're away at Villa. It's a tough place to play, man. It's not an easy place at all. So I'm hoping for a 2-1 win. We'll see.
For what it's worth, Villa to win or draw is plus 115.
That's value, boys.
Butchie, expectations, where are you guys finishing?
Here at the halfway point of the year, you got to push for that top 4, right? And it's literally between us, you guys, United, and Hooves
and
Spurs.
Newcastle.
And then Newcastle, right?
Yeah, I'd toss
so
Newcastle.
we got 4 teams fighting for 2 spots. So if history says anything,
we're 1 point behind you as well. So there's a lot of teams.
Okay.
It's not just those 3.
Yeah, Chelsea could be in there. Depends on what happens.
Brighton's 1 point behind as well. Like game in hand.
I think Brighton will fall off. Mm-hmm. But if history repeats itself or has anything to say about itself, Liverpool, we are pretty known for being mentality monsters when it comes to winning bigger games. Like Klopp always does a good job of getting the team motivated when the time's right. If the trophies, the trophies we won in the last few years.
Fills them with excuses to make them feel good.
Okay. All right.
Oh, the grass wasn't green enough.
Oh, it wasn't your fault.
Right.
It was the ref.
Okay. All right.
Butch getting torched in the spot.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm used to
it. Prem is back, baby. Prem is back.
Prem is back. I've waited a while for this, so it's okay. I'm cool with it today. Next game we have is Winks. Give us your prediction for your Arsenal Gooners at home with West Ham.
Yeah, 2-0 or 3-1. My betting shout is Arsenal team total over 1.5 minus 160. So it's not like insane value, but I think that's a very good bet. And then my sprinkle is going to be a Gabriel goal off a header corner.
I like that.
Plus 1100. But I like I said when we talked about the game, I think that the Emirates is going to be so loud, and with West Ham struggling as much as they are, I don't see anything but an Arsenal win, which is actually plus money right now as well. But yeah, that's my guess. And then as far as the rest of the season, I know that who've said top 4, Nick said top 4 is going to be most of our picks for our teams, but mine is just to stay in the title race as best we can and get the results when we need to, whether that's tying some of the bigger clubs or finding a way to squeak out a win and then taking advantage of the games against the bottom half teams. It's really going to be at the end of the day about how we convert against everyone. And I just hope that Arteta stresses to the boys taking one game at a time and not looking too far ahead.
Winks, let me ask you a question real quick, Nick. Since 2000, and I genuinely mean this with no banter, since the Invincible season, Arsenal has been leading the league in important times after December, a little bit into late November. And since the Invincibles in 03-04, they haven't won the league. But this is just a question for you. What gives you the confidence that it won't happen again this year? And what are you worried about?
I'm worried about Gabby Jesus' injury. I'm worried about who we're going to sign in January. If we sign somebody in January, because, you know, at the end of the day, it could be all talk. And I think that applies to a lot of our clubs. But I said from the get-go, when we started hot, I know JP was adamant that Arsenal were going to win the league. And I never said that. The last five years or more, like Hoove, I'm pretty used to the disappointment. And so I'm kind of numb to all that. So I'm not, low expectations, but I love Arteta, and I think that he's mentally going to get the squad in the right frame of mind. And like I said, one game at a time.
I was going to say, one thing I do want to bring up when you were talking about title race, and something that we all haven't even touched on yet, is City. Like, we don't have someone to represent them, but I think the World Cup is going to honestly help them. Haaland didn't play. He was sitting at home or sitting in Manchester bagging goals all day long. He was making content
the whole time about missing his boys.
They have two injuries, which is Diaz and Alvarez, and they'll both be back in early January. So they have a fully fit side. I don't see Arsenal's injury-ridden side keeping up with them. I think City's the second half is just going to run away. I truly do. I wish it was different. That's what I think.
Which is what I was saying when it came to Arsenal, focus on beating the teams on the bottom half of the table, and despite injuries, doing everything you can to get at least 1 point against the top half clubs.
And does Haaland score 40? Does he?
I know we talked about it last pod, but I don't see a way that he doesn't.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think he will. Who's next?
I think it's Chelsea boys.
Next we have Chelsea and Bournemouth. What does Graham Pooter do here to get some results?
I see
such a clown.
I see a 1-0, 2-0 dub for Chelsea. I'm going to call Reece James. I know it really will be. I'm calling a Reece James goal or an assist. I don't know Hoover. I don't know the betting side of things, and I don't know all the plus and minuses, Winks. But if I was a betting man, I'm taking Reece James goal or assist, because honestly, he's probably our only offensive threat at the moment. But we'll see. I think I said it when I was going through the game. It really depends on the lineup. I think if we're gonna switch it up and go with the momentum and put Ziyech and CP in the game, I'll be very happy, and I think we might have a good performance. But if he's gonna put his foot down and be this is my side, and it's gonna be Aubameyang, Sterling, and Kai, we're gonna have to try and figure something out offensively. And I'm hoping maybe Reece will have that either way. So that's why I'm saying I think he might have an assist or a goal.
Plus 110 for an assist or a goal. It's not bad. What about the rest of the year?
Yeah, expectations. We've all been saying it. I'm hoping we finish top 4. Out of all of our teams, I think I'm probably the least confident that we will, because we're just in this sort of limbo spot. I really don't know. Each game, we could win 2-3-0 or we could lose 2-3-0. It's very interesting times right now. But yeah, I would want us to finish 4th. I think we have the talent to do so as well. I just think we would have to put on a pretty good performance in the second half of the season to do so. So we'll see. But I mean, have to be playing in European next year. So
I think the Chelsea team right now is like, I feel like everybody else, I feel like Liverpool, Spurs, and Arsenal, I could like guess the lineup and be like pretty close with most of them. I think Chelsea's the one that you just have no idea every single
100%.
game.
And it's like one of those things where like the like good side to it is it's because we have so much talent. Like there's just so many like
you have dogs for sure.
Yes, and it just we can't figure it out. We just like no lineup has really like meshed well yet. So like I'm hoping we figure it out soon.
That's fair.
Give it to his head.
Yeah. All right, United, Nottingham Forest. What are the predictions, fellas?
Dubs, you want to go?
Sure. I'm going to go 3-1. I think we take care of business. I do think
goal from Maguire.
Well, I do think we can see it, and I think that goes to kind of what Hoove was saying at the very beginning. Like I think there's going to be goals. There's going to be like Wan-Bissaka having to slide his right back. There's going to be a back four that hasn't played together except for in training in how long. But at the same time, Forest has the tricky trees have so many injuries at the moment, and going forward, our front 4 or 5. Even Anthony off the bench, we're going to score chances. A healthy Martial is massive for us. We have him as number 9. We look so much better when he's healthy. Plus, as we kind of mentioned on Rashford, I'm going 3-1 United. I think we cruise.
I'm going 4-0, and I know that 4 goals is a lot in a soccer game for one team to score, but I'm going 4-0. My other prediction is that Jesse Lingard is going to look like a bigger ghost than Winks does right now in his webcam. We're not gonna see that man on the field. But yeah, I'm going 4-0. All the same reasons for Dobes. I think we're just gonna take care of business, and it's gonna happen fast.
Mm-hmm.
I want Jay Lings to score a goal after that comment, Henry. So bad.
So bad.
So
bad.
Sure.
I think the thing is, I want him to score 2, but he won't. He won't celebrate if he scores, which is the best part of a Jay Lings goal. It's like the celly that he does is the best part, and he won't celly against United.
True.
Or will he?
As for expectations, I am gonna say, so this is like funny. I was thinking about this while you all were talking. Our expectations right now could be drastically different in a month just based on transfer. Yep. you could sign Neymar and it could be like a complete game changer. Spurs is gonna do nothing, but like Arsenal could sign someone, like Liverpool could sign people. Like we have no idea.
The amount of times I've heard Bastoni's name mentioned and linked with Spurs is disgusting because it's not going to happen. We're not getting Bastoni. Like, move on.
But I think if United does pull the trigger on Gakpo, would be sick. And then I think the other thing is we still need a center midfielder. I don't know if it's going to happen in the same window, if it's going to happen in January. But like we really do need one. And if we get 2 signings in January, it'd be pretty massive. But I'm going top 4 for sure. Like I don't feel super unconfident about it. I think Arsenal's going to fall out of the top 4, and I think that United's like gonna. This isn't even like banter. This is genuine. This is what I think is going to happen. I think Arsenal's going to slide out of the top 4.
Stupidity. Yeah.
I'm sure. But yeah, I think United's going to finish top 4 comfortably, and it's going to look great for signings in the summer.
I was gonna say I think United, if you guys don't finish top 4, it's like a loss. Like that's a big L for you. Like I think it's almost like expected. Mm-hmm. Like you guys should probably finish top 4.
I'm in the exact same boat as Hen. I think you give me Gakpo and a right back, and I mean top 4 is a guarantee.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
top 4 is a guarantee in my opinion. But I think if we do get Gakpo on a right back, like we won't challenge for the title by any means, but I'm almost with Hen where there's a possibility we could finish second. Like there really is. Like I truthfully think that the Arsenal collapse is coming. Links, I'm sorry, man. 8th time since the Invincibles, it's going to happen again.
You never know, lads. They could lose to Norwich.
But I genuinely think that if we get Gakpo, it allows us rotation from Martial. Rashford could slide through the middle, as we saw in the World Cup. Gakpo can play in the middle. Gakpo can play the 10. The biggest issue in the summer is going to be addressing another center back and a center midfielder. But I genuinely think in terms of the teams that are ahead of us, like I'm not necessarily scared of Arsenal. I'm not scared of Newcastle. I'm sorry, Hoove. I think Spurs may do what Spurs does. So that's why I'm confident there's actually a path to us to finishing second. But I definitely think it relies on 2 more signings at the bare minimum. because as we see, Delo's out. If we got to play Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I don't even know what to say. It's just not going to happen.
I'm going to defend myself a little bit in the sense that within the last 2 years, this is not the Spurs side that you want to see. Like 2 years and Jose, that was a Spurs side that I think every single one of you guys are taking a win on every day of the week. And Spurs surprisingly show up to some of those games, but still Spurs, whatever.
The confidence is there, but I think we're set up for, much like Nick said earlier, the top, what are we looking at? Like 4 through 8 is separated by 8 points.
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
And with the fixture congestion, it's like, if you don't have depth, you're going to start losing games, and you can drop down the table and move up the table very quickly.
Yeah, and I
100%.
think these like first 3 games off of this World Cup are like literally the most important of the season, which is like crazy to think about because of like all the injuries and all the stuff that's going on. But like, we truly, I don't know, like Arsenal can make or break it in tomorrow's game if they lose and then just start down a spiral. Like I think it's so crazy that the World Cup was in the middle of this season, and like now that we're having to see the ramifications of it, and it's going to be some very exciting football.
100%.
Absolutely.
But you got factor cap?
Oh, well,
If you got one, spit it.
all right. So factor cap, here we go. All right. I want you guys to be honest, okay?
We always are, man.
I don't like, because now I'm going to lie to you, brother.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we are halfway through the year. I'm bringing up Darwin Nunez because y'all flamed him, bro.
Oh,
It's a cap. Bro.
cap. Yep.
Yeah.
We can move on. And that was a great episode.
Dude, I didn't even say it. Hold up, man. Hold up. All right. He's got 5 goals in 10 games in the Prem. Okay. We talked about Haaland breaking records last time. So does Nunez finish with 15 plus? Factor cap.
Cap.
In all competitions or just the Prem?
Premier League.
Cap. I could see him getting to 10. Liverpool make too many chances. And he's sometimes in the right place at the right time and looks spectacular. But
what is he at now just in the Prem?
5.
5 goals in 10
Yeah, he ain't getting 15. Sorry, Bucci.
Really? You don't?
Yes,
I'll give you
cap.
I'll give you
Huge
10.
cap.
I'll give you 10.
Okay. I'm gonna go fact. And I've flamed him the whole episode.
Look at Butch's smile.
Butch is so happy with me right now. He's so happy with me.
Henry.
I'm going fact, and I don't have a whole lot of like statistics to back it. I just am going fact because I think it's going to happen.
Oh wow, love that, Hen. Great answer.
I'm very much going cap.
Yes,
and I think it was the most disrespectful thing that anybody in the world of soccer has ever done by comparing him to Haaland over the summer. That's just the most outrageous comparison that's ever happened. But I do think he gets above 10. 15 with the remaining half of the season that's 10 goals. Is
you think
he
doubles? Yeah, he doubles what he scored already.
Even like Hoof's saying, like I think 10 isn't a bad first season in the Prem. Like that's very respectable in my opinion as a first season in the Prem, especially if he scores more in all comps.
Timo had 11.
I don't think he gets to 15.
Okay. He's gonna score 10, and we're all gonna be like, he's the biggest flop we've ever seen.
There's no winning.
We're like, no, that's respectable.
Butchie, tell us why it's not a cap.
I think he's gonna be playing so much. Like Jota's out till February. Firmino's hurt. He's gonna be playing so many minutes, and like you guys said,
missing so many wide open goals,
bro.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a win-win with this one because if he does hit 15, I'm gonna be that guy that's like, yes, he did it, and if he doesn't hit 15,
that was a great spot to be in.
Awesome.
That was a great spot to be in.
It's just like,
But then I'll just go back to he had no facts behind it and just picked it out of
none. Just a feeling.
I do think
I'm following the heart here.
He's gonna have a lot of clock, so I do agree with that aspect, and I think he's young in the sense that he can take it and wants the minutes. So it's not as far fetched as when you first said it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say cap as well, even though you guys have those 2 injuries, you guys still have Mo Salah, and he's going to be scoring a lot of your goals and taking away a lot of the opportunities that if he wasn't there and maybe Jota was, I think that then Darwin Nunez gets more looks than he would. But with Mo Salah on the right, yes, he's going to get a lot of minutes, and I agree with everything everybody said, but Mo is the guy on that team still.
Salah will take all the pens too.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right. Hey, Mecca Banter, thanks for tuning in for our Christmas episode. We wish you all a happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. On behalf of the entire squad, we had a full squad today, all 6 of us. We wish you the best. As always, follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Peace and love, man.
Hey, I just wanted to say one thing. We're on Spotify now. Big shouts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spotify,
Big shout.
Your podcast on Spotify. We are there. You can find us there. Cheers, boys. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, lads.
Cheers.
Cheers.